Now let's come to the very important topic, that is instruments of monetary policy. There are two types of instruments which RBI use to whatever objective we have seen just now. To maintain those objectives, RBI use various tools. These are categorized into two categories. One is quantitative instrument, another one is qualitative instruments. We will learn both of these one by one. Okay. So let's start. The first one is repo rate or repurchase rate. Okay. Repo here stands for repurchase. Okay. So what is this repo rate? Like whenever we are in need of funds, we go to banks, right? And we ask for funds. Similar way, when banks need funds, to whom they go, right? They go to RBI. Okay, a central bank, RBI, and a commercial bank. Okay, here commercial bank, it can be either SBI or ICICI or any other bank, a commercial bank, right? Commercial bank is in need of funds. Whom they will reach out? They will reach out to RBI. They will ask for some funds. Okay, and RBI is going to give them some funds as loan. RBI is going to give some funds to these banks as loans. Okay, so when RBI is giving loan, in general case, when we take loan from bank, we pay interest. Similar way, when this commercial bank is taking loan from RBI, they have to give some interest. Okay, this interest is known as repo rate. Okay, now the question is, it can be simply, said as interest rate or some other rate. Why repurchase rate? What's the term repurchase has to do with it? So when we go to bank and we ask for loan, bank doesn't give us loans just like that. They ask something for guarantee as collateral, okay, as a security, as guarantee. They ask something. Similar way, RBI also asks something from commercial banks. What commercial banks give them? They give government securities. Okay, they give government securities. So government securities are deposited with RBI, and RBI says that whenever you are going to pay back the loan, at that time you can take back your government securities. So you can see that commercial banks are buying its securities back from RBI by paying the loan amount plus interest. Okay. So what's happening? Repurchase means RBI only issued the government securities to secure commercial banks, because RBI is issuing the government securities. Okay, they sold the securities to commercial bank. Now commercial bank deposited the securities back to RBI and buying it, right? So purchase happened when RBI sold it to commercial banks, and repurchase happened when commercial bank bought it again by paying the loan amount. I hope it's very clear that when commercial banks are getting their government securities back from RBI, this particular phase is known as repurchase rate. Okay, currently our repo rate is going on with 6.5%. Okay, our repo rate is 6.5%. Next is reverse repo rate. Now, reverse repo rate means reverse of what repo rate has done. In repo rate, RBI gave a loan to commercial bank. In reverse repo rate, commercial bank gives money to RBI. Whenever RBI is in need of funds, do you think RBI is in need of funds? For development projects, sometimes they do. And sometimes when those commercial banks have a lot of liquid funds with them, okay, and they don't know where to invest, at that time RBI asks them to park their funds. What it asks? Park funds. Park their funds, commercial bank, park their funds to whom? To the RBI. And whenever they want it back, then they can take it. Now, when this arrangement happens, again, as RBI has kept something collateral in case of repo rate. Here, RBI gives its government securities to be kept with commercial banks, and they also charge the loan amount plus interest to commercial bank. And currently our reverse repo rate is 3.35%. Okay, our reverse repo rate is 3.35%. So the normal interest rate which we are charged by these banks, okay, commercial banks, is dependent on our repo rate and reverse repo rate. Okay, so this is the base rate which decides how much rate we are going to get from fixed deposit account or savings account, or how much interest we have to pay in case of when we are taking loans. Now let's go to the next one. Next is cash reserve ratio. Cash reserve ratio is, as the name suggests, cash reserve, keeping the cash as reserve with whom? With RBI, of course. So RBI tells these commercial banks to keep a reserve of cash with them, with RBI. Okay, and currently it is 4.5%. And what it depends, that 4.5% of what? 4.5% of NDTL. Okay, NDTL stands for net demand and time liability. What is this net demand and time liability? Net demand is mainly our current accounts or so. Okay, checks, current accounts, withdrawal from these accounts are known as net demand. Means any time customer can demand this much of funds. Okay, any time customer can demand, you should be ready with those funds whenever customer is demanding, because there is no time period for it. Time liability is like our FD, savings account or so, RD. Okay, why these are time liabilities? Because these are fixed for a particular period of time. Okay, so bank knows that after this time period is over, we have to pay back the amount. That is why it is known as time liability. So total current account deposits, total FD, savings account and RD deposit, when it's added, whatever amount we are getting, of that amount, 4.5% has to be kept with RBI. Okay, on that total amount, 4.5% has to be kept with whom? RBI. So, do you think that RBI is going to give some kind of interest to the banks for keeping funds with them? No, no interest. They do not pay any interest on this, because it is mandatory requirement for the banks to keep cash reserve with the RBI. Okay. Now let's move to the next one. The next one is statutory liquidity ratio. What is statutory liquidity ratio? Now RBI also want banks to keep this is also known as legal liquidity ratio. Okay, so RBI is asking banks to keep 18% of, again what? Again NDTL. 18% of NDTL to be kept in form of either cash, gold or government securities, which is easily marketable or easily converted into liquidity whenever it's needed. Okay, so commercial bank has to keep funds, okay, in form of cash, gold or government securities to facilitate liquidity. That is 18% of NDTL. Next one is open market operation. Open market operation, or known as OMO, is free flow of free buy and purchase. Okay, buying and selling buying and selling of government securities in open market. Okay, means anyone who wants to buy government securities can easily buy and sell in open market. So it easily facilitates the supply of money in the market. Then bank rate. Bank rate is very much similar to repo rate. Okay, bank rate is very much similar to repo rate, but one difference is bank rate is time bound, like FD. So they take it for a longer period of time and also give high interest. They also being charged high interest by RBI. Commercial bank has to pay more interest on time bound securities, as well as there is no collateral. The one benefit they have, they don't need to keep any collateral with RBI to have bank rate, but they are charged with high rate. Currently, this bank rate is 6.75%. This bank rate is 6.75%, whereas repo rate is 6.5%. And the last one here we have is marginal standing facility, which is newly added to these instrument list. MSF talks about overnight loan. Okay, let's say a particular bank is in sudden need of fund. Overnight they need funds, they reach out to RBI. So they can take overnight funds from RBI and pay it. Okay, so this also have a 6.75% of interest rate. So all these have a marginal interest rate charged on these. So I hope you have understood what is quantitative instruments through which monetary policy is monitored. Now let's come to the extreme last part of our monetary policy, that is qualitative instruments. So these are also known as selective tools. The first one is credit rationing. As the name only suggests, qualitative means money or numbers are not involved in it. Okay, all these are qualitative or behavioral in nature. First is credit rationing. Credit rationing means not decreasing the credit also, but keeping a limit. Okay, RBI keeps a limit that how much loan or credit you can give to a specific industry, so that all the industry can get benefit. So they keep a limit on the maximum amount of loan which you can give to a particular industry, so that all the industry can benefit with the funds flowing. Second one, moral suasion. Moral suasion is just guiding or motivating. Okay. In this, what RBI does? They conduct seminars, workshop where they call the commercial banks, the people from commercial bank attend the sessions, and there they guide. They morally support them that how they need to lower down interest rate, increase the interest rate, or what they can do to improve the economic growth in our country. There is no penalty if you don't follow it, but morally it is going to be good for the country if you follow. So they do moral suasion, guiding or motivating the commercial bank. The second last is direct action. There are few guidelines which RBI gives to help the monetary policy. If banks are not following it, then they get direct action in form of penalties, okay, or punishments. So sometimes bank doesn't follow what RBI wants them to do. Okay, in those cases, direct action in form of penalties or punishment happens. And the last one is margin requirement. Margin requirement means, for example, if you go for loan, okay, when you go for loan, you are not getting the full amount in your account as loan. Let's say you want 1 lakh rupees loan, you're not going to get 1 lakh full. Okay, probably you need to fund 20,000, 80,000 you might get from the bank. So when this margin, which we know as a down payment, if they are increasing the value of down payment, you will be discouraged to take a loan, right? In case there is a lot of funds already in the market and you want new loan, and the banks are increasing the down payment, that you pay 50, we pay 50, then you will be discouraged that I don't have 50,000 to pay as down payment, right? So in that case, when the margin is increased, then it acts as a tool. Okay. So Whenever banks want to have a lot of funds to be flowing, they decrease the margin of down payment, and whenever they want less loans to be floating, they increase the margin. So with this, we understood the instruments of monetary policy.